Hi, welcome to Coaching in a Cuppa, where we have conversations about coaching with other coaches. My name is Leslie Mizerak with Get Courageous Coaching. We offer leadership, confidence, and retirement coaching. Thank you for joining us today. Let's take a listen.
Today, I have joining me Aisha Crumbine. She is a life coach for professional women. We're going to dive into that in just a little bit, okay?
I'm
How
ready.
you doing? How
I'm
you
so
doing?
good. I'm so good and so excited for this
Oh,
conversation.
well, I'm so excited to have you here with me. And, first things first, what's in your cuppa?
Well, in my cuppa this morning is emergency because
Ah,
I am in close proximity to my brand new nephew, and I want to make
mm,
sure that I am staying in good health. So, vitamin C it is this morning.
awesome. Well, I've got the caffeine going, so cheers.
Cheers.
Excellent. It was a little cool this morning here in Orlando, and I decided it's a good morning for a cup of hot tea. So, Aisha, we've known each other for a few years now and met through Dare to Lead.
Hmm.
And what's fun is we get to meet up in Portugal because you live in Portugal and also sometimes in Houston. Am I still getting that right?
And any given day, I'm like, oh, I have no idea where I'm going to be in the
Where am
next
I?
3 months, in the next 6 months, and I am just
Yeah,
rolling with life. And
that's great because you're also doing work in London and you've got stuff
yep,
happening everywhere.
yep.
I love that. Well, I have enjoyed our times to get to meet when I come over to Lisbon for us to sit and chat and get caught up. So thanks for doing this today. So let's just jump right in. Life coaching professional women for professional women. What does that mean to you? What does professional women mean to you?
You know, I when we talked about this originally, there was some
Mm-hmm.
pause for me
Mm-hmm.
because I still haven't landed on what's the title of the woman that I want to work with. Like, I have a really
Mm-hmm.
clear sense of where she is in her life and what she is grappling with. And at some point, I started with high achieving women. And then I would have conversations with women who'd say, I'm not exactly high achieving, or I don't see myself as high
Mm-hmm.
achieving. And yet they were executive director, VP level, like senior level leader who just didn't necessarily see themselves in the name of high achiever. And so I kind of
Mm-hmm.
pivoted a little bit to accomplished women. And now we're trying out professional women, but at the core, the women I am working with are women who have done all the things that they've set out to do.
Mm-hmm.
They have aspired to be leaders. They have been catapulted into leadership, whether they aspired to or not. And they have, by all accounts, become successful. And they are sitting with that success and feeling like there's something else. And
Mm-hmm.
those are my people. Like they're grappling with
Gotcha.
what else is there beyond success.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That was my question for you is what is she grappling with? So, um, what is beyond success? Or have they defined what success is for them, really?
That's the question, right? I
Yeah.
think the women who find their way to me, I like to say they're
Mm-hmm.
assigned to me. Like I believe like the universe and God just moves people to you, to the right, right connections.
Yeah.
Um, but I think they are finding that the version of success that they were working towards may not have been theirs. And
Mm-hmm.
I think when they realize that, that creates more questions. Like if it's
Yeah.
not my definition of success, one, whose is it? And that actually matters less than, okay, what is my definition?
Mm-hmm.
What does a meaningful, well-lived life look like for me? And then how do I pursue it in a way that doesn't undervalue, undermine, or invalidate all of the success and all of the work that I've put in to date? And those
Mm-hmm.
are just really big questions for somebody to grapple with while also living in the land of success. So, how do they both do the inner work while also being present to their current reality?
And that's so hard, right? It's a difficult ROI or KPI or whatever whatever acronym you want to use when you're thinking about kind of your own personal success. It's easier in an organization, especially if there's some sort of production attached to it.
Oh, of course, of course.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the challenge, right? It is moving
Mm-hmm.
from this world in which if it's not measured, it's not of value. And the
Mm-hmm.
inner work is is hard to measure. It's not something you can just put on a spreadsheet and track in your Excel and, look up every
Darn.
quarter, right? Like, wouldn't that be nice? Um, and so to help them move from the head metrics to the heart and spirit metrics for a life that matters to them, that's a pretty radical shift.
That's huge. I have a couple of questions off of this.
Yeah, ask away.
Can I ask something personal for
You
you?
can you can ask whatever
Uh,
you want to.
and you can not answer it if you don't want to. But as we were prepping for this conversation this morning, I was telling you, a little bit of a struggle that I'm kind of going through and coaching myself through.
Mhm.
What are you doing to live, to have a meaningful, well-lived life? What are you doing for yourself? And then I want to hear about any stories that you might want to share of success. So
Yeah.
tell me
Uh,
about you.
so I think at the core of how you live a meaningful, well-lived life, the key to that is living your life.
Mhm.
It is truly about radical self-acceptance. And from that place sits this belief that you are exactly who and how you are meant to be to walk the planet and make the difference that you are designed to make. And
Mhm.
I think over time, we've learned to quiet that or to cover that to be palatable, to fit into society, to meet society's norms. And so, in terms of how I practice that, because it's a practice, it is not
Mhm.
oh, you flip the switch and you are like
Yeah.
on this beyond success track. It's more like, how do I wake up every day and honor who I am, honor my development? And that looks like, for me, I have the three W's. It's like walks, writing, and water. Like those are my like spiritual connectors. And when I do those things, then I get to hear myself. And when I
Mhm.
can hear myself, then I can make decisions that align with me. And that's the way that I'm honoring myself. That's honoring my gifts. It's honoring my talents. It's honoring my desires. And I'm walking this earth not trying to meet somebody else's expectations, but to be a good steward of me and the life I've been given. And that just requires me to be in tune with me at my core.
I
Um,
love that. Do you remember the moment where you understood what your three W's were?
um, I remember when I felt like they were solidified.
Mm-hmm.
And I had just asked someone else. I was talking to somebody who's not a client. He's a friend of mine. It's a guy. I don't typically like I work with some guys, but right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and I asked him, I said, well, what recharges you? Because he was talking about all the ways that he was taking care of everybody else. And I said, well, where do you feel refueled? And he kind of gave his, and then he asked me the question. And I had just spent the day sitting by the pool, writing, reflecting, and I had walked to the pool. I was like, oh yeah, walking, writing, water,
I
anytime.
love it.
Those
Mm-hmm.
are those are my three. If I am in a mood, my husband will say, you go ahead and go out for a walk. Like you just need to get recharged and replugged back into who you are and be able to hear yourself. Um, and any one of those three will do it. All three of them, I am next level.
Mm-hmm. Love that. Any favorite places to go walk to?
No, I actually just like to wander. There's something
Okay.
apparently about these W's. I don't know what this is about.
I,
I'll take it.
totally.
I'll take it. Yeah, I think I can wander and something about not having an agenda, not having a place to be, just allowing myself to be present to what is for both me like what's happening inside of me,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to hear my thoughts and to just be present to what's happening in the world in the moment keeps me or pulls me out of worry a little bit. It just reminds me of how vast and expansive and marvelous this moment is. And I think that is the thing that brings me back to myself.
Yeah, gosh, this just really sounds like really strong mindfulness, just totally in the moment, present,
Yeah, I
engaged
think,
with yourself.
well, I think success pulls us out of that,
Yeah.
right? Like
Oh,
success is about pursuing something outside of ourselves. We're trying to get there. Like, and in this pursuit of always trying to get there, we are not present to where we are,
mm,
right? And so
yeah.
the alternative is if we stop trying to get to climb the corporate ladder, if we stop trying to get to the corner office, we can be present and make an impact where we are with a greater ease because we are fully present to where we are.
Yeah. Love
Um,
that.
yeah.
I love that. Um, just watched a movie this weekend you might like. It's called The Life List.
I
It's
love
on,
this. I saw it while I
it's,
was getting my hair braided. It
wasn't
was
that great?
it
When you were
was
talking,
so
I'm like, it
good.
pulls me to that. That young woman is totally lost and her mother could see it
Yeah.
and she couldn't see it. It was just powerful. So I'm glad you liked
Yeah,
it.
I
Total, that was
loved
a
it.
total hit, wasn't it? Awesome. Thank you for sharing, your story. I think that's huge. And I think, as we chatted about and have chatted about before, it's good coaches do their own work.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so let's flip the script just a little bit. Do you have any success stories? Obviously, no names, no kind of real life situations, but success stories that you could tell us about the clients you work with and how you've helped them make a difference in
Yeah.
who they are.
I I was torn. I was like, oh, which client did I want to talk about? Because I think both of these women that I was considering kind of started in the same place. Like they
Mhm.
were both doing mission-driven work, like work that felt that was like heart-centered.
Mhm.
And they both came from a place where they were the first in their family to reach a certain level professionally. And with that came a lot of responsibility, a lot of quiet responsibility. It's like these stealth expectations that you feel
Mhm.
like you have to live up to because
Yeah.
everybody's watching you. Everybody's putting you on this pedestal, which meant for this particular client, she just felt like she was carrying the weight of the world. It was the weight
Mhm.
of her family, of being the model, the weight of being the first person who looks like her in
It's
this
huge.
kind of leadership. And what that meant, though, was that she was so busy going and doing for everybody else, plus the weight of the mission. She rarely had time for herself. And so for our work together, the ultimate question was like, how would you approach this work if you knew that you were chosen? And
Mhm.
by being chosen, meaning there's nobody who can do this work but you, that you have everything you need to make the impact you are called to make, and that you actually don't have to push, you don't have to overperform, you don't have to prove. It is in you to do. You are called for this. And for her, that question allowed her to begin thinking, how would I do this if my success, if the impact that I was called to make was inevitable? If I was handpicked for this assignment, for this moment,
Love that.
anything that's outside of how I do it is making more work for me. It is working against myself. And that realization for her, she then put on her phone, she was like, I am chosen. Like she put it on her screensaver so that when she would walk into meetings, she could look down at that and go, I have nothing to prove in this moment. My only commitment is to be fully myself because that's how I will make the most significant impact. Um,
Mm.
and that was like what she got in return was energy. Like she got her energy back, she got focus back, she was able to make a significant impact without overexerting herself. That's where the magic is.
Yeah, totally. I can also believe that the passion just was reignited.
Oh, well, I think I'm thinking maybe the passion was reignited. I think it was really just a trimming of all the things that got in the
Mm,
way.
I like
So
that.
she got the concentrated dose
Hmm.
of what it feels like to be of service with ease and flow rather than to be of
Hmm.
service with force and
Hmm.
sacrifice.
Yeah,
And the joy that comes from that, it's still work, right? Like
sure.
your mission is still work, but to do it without feeling like both hands are tied behind your back and you're trying to peck at it with your face, right? Like that's kind of what it feels like sometimes when we are in that proving energy.
I love that story. Um, Anything else you want to share?
I don't know. Is there something else you want to ask?
I think I could talk about this all day long. If you were to give, I know as coaches, we try not to give advice, but sometimes it just happens. Um,
I was like,
occasionally.
I have a whole thought about that, but carry on. Yes, go ahead.
But if you were to ask a listener today that you don't know, um, a question around something they're grappling with or how they might get to their well-meaning life, what might that question be? What thought might you want to put in their head or their heart?
I think in coaching land, we're not supposed to stack questions, but I'm kind of rogue and I do what I want to anyway. So whatever.
I
Um,
get it.
I think I tend to ask, like, whose expectations are you trying to meet right now?
Mm-hmm.
And the response will normally, well, I want to make sure that this person gets what they need or this person gets what they need. And I will invite them to just sit those things off to the side for a second. Like you've already named them. Put their names on a post-it, just put them off to the side. We're going to come back to those. Just put them off to the side. And if you were meeting your own expectations, if at the end of this situation, you were so proud of yourself for how you handled it, that you shimmied a little bit, what,
I can feel it.
yeah, what decision would you
Mm-hmm.
make? What would you do that would have you get in your car and be like, I am just so proud of myself. I did that. And the answer to that question is often the answer that's a reflection of what is truly in you to do and what they
Mm-hmm.
want to do, but they can't hear it because of all of the other expectations that are crowding their mind or crowding their head a little bit. And so to just take those and put them off to the side, and you can come back to them if you want to,
Mm-hmm.
but to get them to feel what it feels like to make a decision that is in alignment for them, that honors them,
Mm-hmm.
when they often have not been asked to make a decision from that place
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
that's the fun.
That is. Yeah. Quite often those decisions are being asked to be made in role position,
Yeah.
something around their job. I love kind of turning the tables for them to be able to think about themselves. It's huge. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
to one thing you said, and I think it's important to name, is that sometimes my people separate themselves from their job, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
and that's critical to do, but they sometimes think of like, well, this is personal work and this is professional work. And there is no such thing.
Mm-hmm.
No such thing. Like there is only you. There's one you.
Yep.
And so learning to make decisions from a place of alignment
Mm-hmm.
benefits everybody, right?
Right.
It colors how you show up to your work. It colors how you show up to your relationships in a way that allows you to feel free and
Mm-hmm.
to feel connected and rooted to yourself in every aspect of your life.
Yeah. I love that. So that brings us back to life coaching for professional women. How might professional women, or however they might classify themselves, how might they reach you? What's the best way for them to reach you, Aisha?
So I figured if people are listening to a podcast, then they are obviously podcast listeners. And so I have put together a short series, like a podcast series. It's a private podcast. It
Mhm.
kind of walks women through, like, how do you make this shift from success to a life of significance? Like, how do you do that? And I have called it a love letter. Like, it is my love letter to high achieving, accomplished professional women. So the way to find me, or to find access to that, is Aisha Crumbine /love letter. So they'll go there,
Perfect.
put in their email, and then they'll get a link to a private podcast. And private podcast just means, like, it's a way for me to know that you are listening and for us to be connected. But you can listen to it on your Apple, whatever, wherever you listen to podcasts,
Your iPhone,
Spotify,
Android, whatever it is.
whatever it
Okay.
is. I'll let the tech
Uh,
people deal with all that, but that's where to find me.
Perfect. Well, I will make sure that I have that link included in the show notes, on the YouTube, on the website, everything, so that people can find you and be able to listen to your love letter thoughts. I'm so excited. This is great.
Yeah.
Aisha, thank you so much for joining me. And I look forward to seeing you on my next visit to Houston or Lisbon, one of the two, or wherever you're at.
Wherever we find ourselves, we'll just rendezvous wherever we are.
Oh, thank you so much. Cheers and have a great day. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us today for Coaching in a Cuppa. We hope you enjoyed this conversation. You can listen to other coaching conversations at getcourageous.com/cuppa. Have a great day.